Yeah. Welcome into the DNVR Rockies podcast brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Now, new customers, when you sign up and you use promo code DNVR, you place a $5 bet, and when you win, you get $200 in bonus bets instantly with code DNVR and with DraftKings Sportsbook. I am Patrick Lyons.
I'm Suzie Hunter. Patrick, today's game, I feel like it was kind of ugly. It was a win, but it was ugly.
Yeah, 7-6 victory over the Washington Nationals for a series split. But outside of that, the home opener where Kyle Freeland was dominant, even that one was only a one-run victory.
Yeah.
Rockies not looking too great against a team that was 1-5 going into this series and should be at the bottom of the NL East standings. But we did get a victory on the 30th anniversary, the day that the Rockies won and played their first game in Denver at Mile High. And so that was kind of fitting. Eric Young Sr. hit a home run to lead off that game for the Rockies back in '93.
Yes.
And his son was coaching first base today for the Nationals.
It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty special.
That's pretty neat. There were a lot of those little kind of connective tissues going all throughout this entire weekend, which I thought was really nice. We'll catch up on the entire weekend of what that was. Maybe talk about some of the minor leagues a little bit. Nolan Jones is saying, hey, come on.
What am I doing down here?
What am I doing down here? Why did you spend $8 million on the guy just because he's making all these Superman catches? Still, I'd like to play. And of course, you've got some gossip. You got a dish, don't you?
Oh, I got a spicy dish for you. Yeah, we're going to do some gossip in a little bit.
You're normally my co-host.
Yes.
And I'm your co-host.
Yes.
But you're normally my co-host. Today, you're going to be a bit of a waitress because you're going to dish, right? Are you going to be dishing?
I'm so triggered.
or are you more of a sous chef? I mean, either way, anything in the restaurant field.
I'm head chef.
Oh, you're a head chef?
I'm head chef. Don't sell me short.
Dishing it out. Chris Bryant walked today, so of course his 17-game on-base streak is still alive. His hit streak, unfortunately, not so much. He was at 9 games with the base hit on Saturday. It was tied for the longest to start the season with 2 other All-Stars, and Jose Abreu and Jose Ramirez. Unfortunately, that streak is now stopped. Back in 2016, Carlos Gonzalez had an 11-game hit streak to start the game.
Or the season?
The season.
Yes.
To start the season with 11. And we saw a good game from Elias Díaz, 3 hits, had the home run, 2 RBI, 2 runs scored. He was fantastic. The strange thing, so the bullpens just blew up. And I think that might help put in better context the day that Ryan Feltner had, because this entire weekend, the starting pitching after Kyle Freeland was not good. I had to calculate it very quickly using my ERA app.
I was like, wait.
It should be. That should be a thing.
You should make that app.
That actually could be pretty helpful.
Patrick, this is such a good idea. We are always coming up with great ideas after the exhaustion of a series.
I mean, a lot of little leagues would probably buy an app like that for their kids to know, like, hey, Dad, what's my WOBA? You're like, oh, son, I'll tell you what your OPS plus is. Like, you're right. There's probably a place for this app out there.
There are some intense families out there who would love this.
8.76 ERA by the starters. After Kyle Freeland, those 3 guys. So Ryan Feltner, 5 innings pitched, gave up 3 runs, was able to get through the 5th, gave up a run, but first 2 guys got on base, walked the leadoff hitter, but he was able to go through, but he said it was definitely a growth moment for him, and Feltner seemed happy about it again. Getting a little bit of length, I think, is important, so 5 innings pitched, 3 earned runs is pretty good considering, he ended up walking 4, didn't give up a home run, was was the only one of the three between Gomber and Ureña to not give up a homer. So I think that's positive. The negative was the thing that we're probably going to be talking about for a while that you and I were both just a little fascinated by, right?
Yeah, not one, but 2 balks.
Consecutive balks.
Two
back-to-back.
consecutive balks.
Didn't throw a pitch in between either of them.
It was so weird.
It was so strange that after the third ball thrown to Alex Call, Alex just decided, I'm going to just take first base. Because I feel like 2 balks and no pitches, that's like, it's a half of a ball is a balk, right? That's not how the math works, Alex. So he had to come back. We had a delay for the umpires trying to figure out what the heck is the count. But has those back-to-back balks. Third time in history a Rockies pitcher has balked twice in the same inning. The first 2 both came in 2013. Rex Brothers on August 20th, 2013, and Wilton Lopez, June 13th, 2013. Both those guys are lefties, lefty relievers, which is kind of interesting. I think Antonio Senzatella is the last pitcher to have 2 balks just in a game, because that's something I've been looking at.
But
so that's
back-to-back, balk to balk.
Balk to balk and belly to belly. Well, no, we have to have something else because we got back to back. Yeah, balk to balk. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I like that one. Save that one for the thumbnail or something.
I think Manny tweeted it. So
he did?
Yeah, something like that. So you got to give him credit.
Look,
I told him I hated it, but obviously I don't. I'm stealing it for the show.
All the good teachers and educators out there know you steal from the best. So that's good. That's a compliment.
It is.
The balk to balk. Yeah, that was strange. The first one definitely was a balk. Because
he moved his foot.
Yeah, he moved and he didn't throw a pitch, right? He was trying to communicate through pitch comm. I'm not sure why. Maybe he just decided at the last second that he wanted to throw a different pitch. The second one, he said he had been doing all spring long, where he was on the mound, but he wasn't set. His hand and his glove was not together. In fact, he didn't even really move his glove. He said that previously he had been kind of using his glove to block the pitch that was there, which I'd seen a lot of guys do in spring training. He didn't even move his glove. So he just put his hand, but he was engaged on the rubber and, got called for a balk with that one. So that one
was confusing. He said it was confusing. So yeah, I think even Buddy said too, like, we need to figure this out with the umpires and all of baseball. Like that to me, not totally fair.
Totally. The final out, the final play of the game. Jonathan Daza. I mean, you were there last night. You were there for this one. Was there one that was better than the other?
Probably the one that counted.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, great play for the final out. Pierce Johnson getting in a little bit of a trouble there, walking the leadoff hitter, but great diving grab from Daza.
Daza was dazzling.
He was.
As always.
He was asked post-game about the catch and, what was exchanged between him and Pierce Johnson. He said, I got a hug. That's all I wanted from the man. That was it. So he got his hug.
Daza just wanted a hug.
He wanted a hug.
You know what? He's such a Pisces.
He is.
Such a Pisces.
He had a double in his first at-bat. Batting average is just a tick below 300. But Daza, he hits, man. He's a guy who puts the ball in play. Charlie Blackmon had 2 hits
Daza
today.
for this year. you know?
There were a couple hit by pitches in this game today, too.
The audacity to hit Chris Bryant. The nerve. Get out of my ballpark.
Yeah. The real question is, why doesn't he wear a full body armor with the year he had last year?
He should have bubble wrap under his uniform.
I think so. It's just some hard plastic. Thin, like he's still able to be mobile, but just his whole left side when he's standing in the box, I think would be super
can't afford
important.
any more injuries from Chris Bryant. Also, how sad is it that Moustakas and Profar have more home runs in Rockies uniforms at home than Chris Bryant?
After 4 days.
After just a few days. Chris Bryant's got to be so frustrated between that and not striking out. When we could have really gotten that game last night.
True.
Saturday night.
True. It did start to move around the press box of like, all right, who's next to hit a home run before Chris Bryant? Jonathan Daza? Brian Servin?
Oh my
gosh. Who plays once a week? That's kind of weird. I have an article that just went up on Saturday, a little bit about the benefits of the pitch clock. In fact, you made a really good video about, the Rockies benefiting at home because of the pitch clock, both because now pitchers are going to have to work a lot quicker at altitude, which is difficult. But then for the players that have to play here for 81 games a year, that's more time that they're going to be off their feet. They're not going to be on the field of play because these games are cruising by. Rockies are averaging about 2 hours, 33 minutes All of MLB is averaging 238 going into today. The last time MLB was averaging 238 for a game was 1981. Like over a decade before either of us were born, I think, to almost 2 decades even before we were born, which is crazy to think about. So that benefits Kris Bryant. And he said, yeah, this is great not being on my plantar fasciitis feet. I don't know if can you past tense plantar fasciitis? Plantar fasciitis feet?
Yes. There, that makes sense. But yeah, I had to ask Charlie about it because he, has been around for so long. I'm like, do you think this is going to make a difference? And he was like, listen, I don't think you're going to notice it right away. I don't think you're going to notice it, in the first day, the first month, the first week, whatever that is. But I think at the end of the season, I think you're just going to see a difference in how rested guys are. And rest is one of the biggest issues at altitude that we don't hear enough about.
Yeah, if I don't know what the math is that I could probably try to do off the top of my head. I would say for every 5 games or 6 games, so maybe once a week, is like 1 less game played.
Yeah.
If you think about it, right? Because we're at like 40-some minutes less than where we were at last year.
That's such a good point.
So, I mean, and maybe even more than that. So that's huge. Mm-hmm. And in this article on Saturday about Kris Bryant, like we've been saying here on the show, batting title possibly for this guy because it just seems like he's able to just, on 2 strikes, he talked about it. I just got to put the ball in play now. The gaps are much bigger. He didn't have that in Wrigley, so that kind of cut his average down a little bit. Mm-hmm. So he's putting the ball in play more, I think doing a better job, getting away with some balls in play that are hits, but I think that could be taking away from his power. So not ideal, not a fair trade so entirely, but it could be, further proof and further evidence of why he could be winning a batting title here in the next couple of seasons.
We got to solve the Kris Bryant equation.
That's it. The Kris equation.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
And, anytime you're down at the DNVR bar and you've got your calculator, scientific or otherwise, or if you just want to help us get our MLB, batting average calculator app together, we can do it at Colfax in York. If you're a diehard, you're going to get 15% off your food and drink. Access to the Diehards Only Discord, which is fantastic.
It's lit.
We're sharing all kinds of different ideas and saying, well, what if this? What about that? We can talk about José Ureña here in a second. Should he stay in the starting rotation? Who are the options? Those are some of the discussions that are happening in the Diehards Only Discord. You get 20% off all the gear at DNVR Locker. A free shirt each and every year with your annual membership. And if you want to come out, it's right around the friggin' corner, April 29th. So we got the Cardinal series. Okay. They're gone for a little bit in Seattle. And then we got the Pirates series. Then they're gone for a week. And then we got the Diamondbacks. So it's like, it's here. We're 6 games away from it.
We're just a few. Yeah, exactly. We're just a handful of home games away from that takeover.
Yeah. Takeover, you're going to get 20% off if you're a diehard. You're going to get a free shirt. You get a voucher there on your ticket so you can get some food or drink or even buy some merchandise. It's super nice. We'll leave here from the bar. It's going to be a ton of fun. Check that out at DNVRlocker.com and check out where you can find some Breck Brew in your area by going to the Breck Beer Locator at breckbrew.com. It's made by 100% renewable energy, 100% Colorado products. Breck Brew Avalanche Ale until summertime comes and you're starting to think about maybe a little something lighter while you're at the ballpark. It's still Avalanche season, still Avalanche Ale. That classic American that blends pale chocolate and caramel malts. It's a well-rounded, flavorful beer.
Ooh.
Dare I say it's the Harold Castro of beers.
That's a nice way to put it. I like that.
I think that's a compliment.
I'm into that.
And I can't possibly compliment Fubo TV any more than I already am. It's amazing. I am behind on sleep a little bit. Half of that has to do with long days at the ballpark, which are wonderful. They're just long days.
Yeah.
The other half is Fubo TV. Like, there's so many different options, and I feel like I want to get my money's worth. I don't want to miss out on everything that they have going on. Right now, for you, they have a free 7-day trial. Make sure you use the link in our description so you can actually save 25% off on that. They got 140-plus live channels of sports, shows, movies, news. You can stream live from any device. That's probably one of the biggest things. It's super convenient. It's no contract and it's no cable. It's no hassle. It's Fubo TV. Use the link in our description to sign up for 15% off. Sunday, they get the win, which is great. All throughout the weekend, we've got the 30th anniversary video. We finally saw it on Thursday. I don't think we talked about it on Friday. If we did, it's still worth talking about again.
I think we did talk about it a little bit. Yeah, it was really good.
Really
so the
good.
premise of it appears that this video follows a family through the inception of the Rockies. Yeah. They're baseball fans. They are celebrating all of the biggest moments in Rockies history. And it's just such a great retro-looking video. And the final shot at the end is like one of the little girls from the video who is walking into opening day. And she actually was walking into opening day because I saw them film that last shot right before they put the video out.
That was cool.
It was really cool.
And all three of them were wearing jerseys from different eras. So the little girl had on a Bryant, her dad had on a Blackman, and then I don't remember what the grandfather had. I think it was a Helton.
Okay.
But like, you got the generations. I was like, oh, that's sweet. Then they were in the ballpark on Friday. I do sort of wish that part of the contractual agreement is for the family that was in the commercial that they would have to show up to every single home game. So when they're done showing the video, you see them in their seats and it's like a rain delay and they just kind of sit out there in the rain and poncho. That would be hilarious, but I would feel so bad for them.
I'm starting to doubt that. I don't think they're an actual family. I think it's just.
Oh,
just people.
They looked very people. They looked very average. It looked like they didn't look like they were actors necessarily, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't know if they're necessarily like. I don't think they found a family with all of those members who would be willing to do the video for the big screen
and could act.
Exactly.
Yeah. And could act like they were looking at a stadium. It's harder than most people probably realize. Right?
She was looking at the stadium.
She's good.
She's good. She's got it.
She's gonna win. She's gonna win an EGOT. I know that. Now Friday's loss, 10-5 loss. Nationals pitcher Mackenzie Gore. I think I tweeted this. I don't know if I said it to you because you weren't by me that day.
Oh no, I saw the tweet.
I'm like,
I saw the tweet.
So he has a single digit, which is pretty cool to begin with. Single digit for a starting pitcher. Even digits under 20 is rare for a starting pitcher. But he wears the number 1, so that's cool. Only 4 letters in his last name, Gore. And then I realized as I said it out loud in my head, I go, is this political? Because the back of his jersey says, Gore won. I'm like, oh, 2000 election. Do you know what year Mackenzie Gore was born, though?
Was he born in the year 2000?
No, it was 99.
Oh.
It might have been 98, but it wasn't 2000. I was like, here we go, conspiracy. Oh
my gosh, Patrick.
The win got taken out of my sails, but I was like, oh, I wonder. I mean, it's not. It could also just be a joke too.
It's pretty funny. It's a deep cut.
It's very funny.
I wish you asked him.
Now on Friday, CJ Abrams had 2 triples. Second time in a week that someone has had 2 triples against the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies have had 4 triples hit against them. They have hit 0. But half the teams in baseball don't have a triple yet. That being said, do the math. I think there was 27 triples going into today. Rockies had given up 4. That's 15%. 15% of all triples this season so far have been given up by the Rockies.
I'm trying to save 15%, not give up 15%.
Let's go. All right. So then I went down the rabbit hole as I tend to do on Easter.
Boy.
Easter.
Oh boy.
The Easter rabbit hole.
Let's hear it, Patrick.
So in the ballpark, we had 2 CJs. CJ Cron has missed the last 2 games. Flu-like symptoms.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Mike Moustakas has been in there at first base, doing a really solid job.
Yeah.
But you had 2 CJs. CJ Abrams, CJ Cron.
Yes.
CJs are spelled differently. CJ Abrams does not use periods or decimals. Look, no judgments.
Okay.
If you think it's C period J decimal, I will not begrudge you of that.
Okay, Patrick.
But it's spelled differently. Now, CJ in CJ Abrams stands for Paul Christopher. CJ Abrams' name is Paul Christopher Abrams. CJ Cron is Christopher John Cron, a.k.a. Christopher Jonathan Cronathan.
Yes.
But CJ Abrams is strange. Paul Christopher. My guess is his dad is Paul Christopher, and he goes by Chris or Christopher, and so he's Christopher Jr. So he's CJ.
Oh, okay.
That's my guess.
That makes sense.
So
that's a good guess.
Yeah. Now I got to go to Washington, D.C. I've got 2 questions for some Nationals players. There we go. I got to go on a trip now.
Danielle will at least be on that series. She'll find out for us.
She
finds out everything.
So that took me down the rabbit hole even further. Apparently, none of the Nationals players actually use their real names. Hobie Harris, real name, Robert Harris. Doesn't even have a middle name. Stone Garrett, I hope we don't see him again. He was fantastic.
Stone Garrett, never come back to Coors Field. Thank you.
There was someone was taking secret shots at the Rockies. I think on Instagram, they made a graphic of, and I think it might've been of someone's tweet that like this time last year, Stone Garrett was selling real estate. Because I guess he was out of baseball for a period of time. And so it's like, all right, great. Real name for Stone Garrett, Gregory Stone Garrett.
Okay.
And then I think it was the final pitcher of the day for the Nats was Thaddeus Ward. And you go, no, that one's his real name. And it is. But his full name is Thaddeus J. Ward.
Ooh.
J. Dot is his middle name. Just J. Dot.
That can't
I
be.
give up with this team.
That can't.
I give up.
That can't be his real middle name. He just doesn't want us to know his middle name.
What would it be if your first name is Thaddeus?
Thaddeus J. Ward sounds like a name from 200 years ago.
I have a feeling that, he maybe used to own a department store in a previous life with like that. I've definitely I would buy some salve from Thaddeus J. Ward or some kind of, solution to
an elixir.
An elixir. Yeah, Thaddeus J. Ward, he's got the good stuff. Rockies defense was not good. It was very sloppy. Bud Black and Ryan McMahon both were not happy with it. McMahon saying it should not continue, and hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully that's the case. On Saturday, they were down 7-2 in the ninth. They have a 4-run ninth inning.
That was a fun rally, and it was so close.
It was 34,000 in the building before the game. I had 34,250 as my projected attendance. It was actually 34,503, so I was off by 253 people.
I didn't know you were projecting attendance numbers.
We've been kind of having little side bets about what the attendance would be. I can't give out name. I can't let out the who's our DK. Our DK Sportsbook, we have to keep the DK private there in the press box. But with time of game predictions, trying to do those things. But the crowd was feeling itself, even when they were losing.
Yeah.
They got back into it, especially after Mike Moustakas gets down early, battles back, 3-2 count, fouls off 4 consecutive foul balls before his big home run. First time for a 10-pitch home run since Elias Díaz did against the Diamondbacks in a walk-off in 2021. So that was a major rarity, to say the least.
Yeah, that was a long at bat.
Also, that rally could have snapped a streak. Alas, the streak is still alive. That every single Rockies game so far this season has been determined by the 6th inning. So at the end of the 6th inning, when the Rockies have been up, they've won all 4 games. When they've been down after the 6th inning, they've lost all 6.
We really could have ended the games a whole hour earlier.
How about that?
How about that?
It's good. José Ureña, not so good. 14.4 ERA. His ERA did go down. It actually did improve.
That's terrible news.
That's not great. Some people, of course, are suggesting, hey, maybe somebody else should be in the bullpen. Still on the early side. Again, ugly starts. Not much to say to him after the game. That one was kind of uncomfortable. Not very many questions because there's not much to say for him. Buddy did his best to kind of, break it down. If you're not throwing strikes, you're just not throwing strikes. You just don't have it. Connor Siebold's the only guy on the roster that you might work into the rotation. You have to stretch him out a little bit. You could make the case for Ty Block too, but as a left-hander, and again, just a long relief guy, I don't know how much upside is there for Ty Block. So maybe Connor Siebold is the guy. You look at the AAA roster. Peter Lambert just made his first AAA start, so he's got a way to go back on the comeback trail. Noah Davis has been good. He's been fine. I think maybe 4.5 ERA over his 2 starts, which is actually quite solid for the Pacific Coast League. So got a way to go on that. I think he's going to stay in the rotation at least one more time. He
probably will. He'll stay in at least. I say he stays in the rotation 3 more times, minimum.
Yeah, I think so. Elias Díaz just again was the bright spot. We got to tip our cap to him because Elias Díaz was our DraftKings Sportsbook king of the game. Dude went 3 for 4 with 2 runs, 3 hits, had the home run, big monster shot, 400 plus. 2 RBI. Yeah, that one went 443 to keep them in the game. Actually, that tied it up 2-2.
Yeah,
so that was
fun.
That was very clutch. And then actually he had I think he had the game-winning RBI there because he had a double there to score a run. I think he scored Elias Montero in the 6th. So Elias Montero is our DraftKings Sportsbook king.
No, Elias Díaz.
Elias Díaz. What did I say?
You said Elias Montero.
Yes, I did that I think I did that on Friday too. It's the E's.
Oh my god.
It's the big boys who hit big home runs whose first name starts with an E.
Yeah.
I did that on Friday.
You can tell we are in mid-season levels of tired right now.
of fatigue.
The adrenaline. It's like when you're at the game, especially a game like this, it's like adrenaline, and now we're coming down.
True. But it's a good kind of fatigue because you don't feel bad about it because you're like, no, I had fun. I would do that again. It was fun.
Yeah, it's actually a drug.
Ooh.
Are we junkies?
Our serotonin levels are down.
They are.
So basically what we have to do to get them back up, or what you need to do, is go to Game Time Tickets. Get your tickets. Get juiced back up. You can wait close to first pitch. About 60 minutes until then. 60 minutes. That's it. You wait close to the start of the event. Prices are going to be really low. Nolan Arenado and the Cardinals are coming into town. We'll preview that a little bit more on Monday's show at 1 p.m. But again, you can wait until tomorrow to really get that juice, because you might get a bump right now and you don't need it because you're trying to stay down. But when you need that bump, Game Time Tickets is the spot. Join over the 15 million people who've gotten their serotonin fix on Game Time Tickets. And they've done it in the link in our description because it helps us out just a little bit. So help yourself, help us. It's a win-win. Speaking of win-wins, buy one, get one on the Shady Rays. It's fantastic. You actually go to the Park Meadows Mall to pick up 2 or more pairs, polarized shades, or you can just go online. Mm-hmm. Cool thing is, I think they've got some features where you can kind of figure out what the shape of your face is and if the glasses will fit on your face. And even if you're not sure, regardless, you can get those. And if you don't like them, you can send them back within 30 days. Send them back. It's fantastic.
And even better, if you lose your sunglasses, like maybe someone on this show, maybe this one right here, I got my replacement. My replacement came in. My replacement Shady Rays are here because I lost my first pair the first day I had them. Okay, but so they sent me a brand new pair.
That's what happens if you lose them. What happens if you break your glasses though, Suzie?
Same thing.
Oh, nice.
Same thing.
They'll hook you up. It's fantastic.
I'm not a breaker. I'm a loser. I played myself on that one.
Here's the clip of the week,
Played
folks.
myself on that one, folks.
She said it, not me. Suzie is a loser. Not a breaker. You're the loser. I'm the heartbreaker. No, not really. That doesn't work. You're also a breaker too.
I am. I'm very destructive.
You're destructive. But fear not.
The worst.
Because Shady Rays knows we're all a little bit destructive in our own ways. That's why Shady Rays is the brand that over 200,000 people have rated 5 stars. It's amazing. We talked about the average game time. It's been fantastic. The fan experience has also been really good. Crowd IQ, got this from an article on The Athletic, has been looking through some data going back to 2018. Fans are in their seats about 45 minutes into every game than at any other point. About 95% of fans are in their seats about 45 minutes into a game. So that's when people are paying attention to. Once you're at the 2-hour mark, that dips to 90, and then 2 hours and 30 minutes, 80%. With these games only going 2:30, that means most people are staying for the whole games. You saw it yourself firsthand in Los Angeles.
I saw it at Dodger Stadium, and that never happens at Dodger Stadium. Dodger Stadium is famous for people leaving in the 7th inning, the 8th inning, trying to beat the traffic. But since these games are so fast, people are actually just staying put.
That's great.
It's huge development.
It will be interesting to see the impact this has just on baseball fans in general. And kids and families and things of that nature.
Yeah.
If people are going to get into some of the more of the minutia of the game and actually watching it and maybe paying more attention because they're going to be invested from first pitch until the final out. And there'll be also, and Rob Manfred, they did some research about concession sales, completely unaffected by the shorter games. And again, I think that makes sense. Late in the game, you're not like, oh, I'm still hungry, I'm still peckish. You kind of already ate. Yeah. You will be maybe when you leave the game, you're going to stop at a concession, or not a concession, stop at a convenience store or something like that. But that late in the game, you're like,
You probably already ate, yeah.
Also, I think it's gonna be more expensive, so I will just wait until after the game.
I think people also realize that these games are flying by, and I think a lot of people are, hey, let's use some strategy. Let's maybe stock up, or let's maybe just get the things that we're gonna get before the game starts.
I think so. And Coors is one of the, I'm not gonna say one of the few, because not really sure what the breakdown is of who allows what. Coors is pretty friendly as far as allowing people to bring food into the game. Mm-hmm. You know, you need like those clear bags and whatnot, but you can bring in a full meal for yourself for your entire family, which is pretty nice.
You can
do that. Nothing wrong with that.
You know, I think a lot of people were in their seats early today. We didn't talk about Brendan Rodgers.
No.
His gold glove. Or were you saving that for Monday?
Let's have a pre-production meeting. No, I wasn't. Yeah, it was cool. We talked to him before game. He got his Gold Glove award, and I was blinded by it from the press box.
Yeah,
it was bright it was.
It was shiny.
Now this was
I haven't seen actually. I guess Mookie Betts got his Gold Glove while I was in Dodger Stadium, but it didn't shine like that.
No,
it did not shine like Brendan Rodgers. I'll tell you that.
First Gold Glove award ceremony pregame before a Rockies game since 2019.
Oh, I guess
right?
So.
No one's there in 2020 for Arenado to get his. 2021.
Did they still do a pregame ceremony though? Even if there was no one in the stands in 2020?
No, I mean the ceremony is for the fans, really. I mean it's for the player, but it's kind of for the show, right? It's a whole thing.
But I mean,
in and of itself.
I guess that's not necessarily on TV.
Yeah, 2020 they didn't have that. 2021 Nolan was gone, so I don't know. I think he must have gotten his Gold Glove in St. Louis that year.
He would have. Yeah, he would have.
I think I kind of remember seeing
that's how it works.
Images of that, and then no one won one in 2021, so. No one got one in 2022. So the last time was 2019, 4 years ago. It's kind of interesting, right?
Yeah. But Tiff, we do have that interview clip. Yeah, we've got we had such a great conversation with Brendan Rodgers.
That was cool.
Ahead of this ceremony. It was, I'm just, you know what? I'm not going to tell you anything about it. Are we ready to play it though? Ready to play. All right, let's roll it. Big day, getting some fresh new hardware. Yeah. What does it mean for you to be able to, finally accept this award? I'm sure you've had some time in the off season to reflect on it.
Absolutely. No, I actually texted Stevie after the Gold Gloves dinner in November. I said, "Do we get to take these home?" And he said, "No, you actually." You get this presented on the field. I was like, I would love to take it home. He's like, well, we've been doing this for the last 40 years this way, so we're going to continue to do it. I was like, I guess I can wait then. So here we are today, and I'm looking forward to it.
Now, with the way your season started last year, could you have imagined back in April 2022 that you would be getting this Gold Glove?
Yeah, it definitely was the slowest start of my career. Offensively and a little bit defensively, kind of went through a little, little hiccup there early on, and kind of picked it up real quick, and started doing some early work with Stu, and started to minimize the little mental mistakes that I was making throughout the game, and wanted to really clean those up, and it came a long way. Started doing that red machine pretty much every day, and I think I want to give a lot of credit to that machine. It did keep me honest and kept me prepared day in and day out. Coming up as a shortstop, I never really thought I'd move to second base, but some injuries and some other guys were kind of in the way at the time, but I've admired every day at second base, and I don't take a day for granted, and there's always more room for learning and opportunities out there, and the goal is I was planning on winning another one this year, but I guess it'll have to wait for another year.
If you had to make a prediction, do you think this organization will win back-to-back Gold Gloves at second base?
I mean, yeah, Max got a good chance. Max grew up a second baseman, and they've kind of been bouncing him around everywhere, but I have no doubt in my mind that he can do the same thing.
That was just such a funny conversation too, that he wanted to take the Gold Glove home right away.
He did.
He's like, no, I want it. Why can't I have it? Let me have it.
It's like, it's not the Oscars.
It's not the Oscars.
There's no nameplate on it. And you're like, I don't care. I just need it now. Yeah, that was really funny. I wanted him to really go in hard on Ryan McMahon will win a Gold Glove. I wanted the quote graphic. I was all ready for it. And he gave like a good professional answer, but you could actually have 3 consecutive Gold Glove awards by this organization at second base, and no one goes back to back, right? McMahon wins it this year, and then Rodgers again next year. That's wild.
That would be really crazy.
For anyone not watching this on the DNVR channel, on DNVR Sports channel on YouTube, you got to see the video of the red machine. Because when we were interviewing, we knew what was going on.
We knew what he was talking about, because last year we called it the Stu Cole machine, because Stu Cole brought it out of storage and was using it with Brendan Rodgers to work on stuff.
And last year it should have been called, but it wasn't, the Trevor Story machine. Because Trevor Story apparently bought 2 of them, and I think he took one with him, and then he's like, I'll just leave the other one behind. So that was actually Trevor Story's, but yeah, Stu Cole's using it. Now it could be the Warren Schaefer machine.
It could be.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But the red machine, normally in baseball, we think about the Cincinnati Reds.
Mm-hmm.
You might even say now the St. Louis Cardinals. But as Kristen, our super chat points out,
yes.
You know what? Yeah, we might not be friends for the next 3 days because it's Cardinals, Rockies. Kristen is awesome.
Yes.
Love talking baseball with her. Caught up with her earlier in the week. But yeah, we can say hi though.
I was just gonna say I saw her on the way in actually.
Okay.
Yeah, she's downstairs.
She's downstairs.
She's actually downstairs.
What's the protocol, Tiffany? If someone's in the building, do we have to actively say hi to them on the day of the super chat? Is that also part of the fine print? Oh, okay.
I actually, on my way up to the studio, I stopped there and I was chatting with her and Amanda. And then right after, you were like, where are you? You left 10 minutes before me. I was like, oh my gosh, I actually didn't know you were already here because I didn't see your car. But yeah, she's a Cardinals fan. So is Vote. We've got like some Cardinals fans that we got to deal with the next couple of days. And it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Because these are people that we're friends with normally. And for the next couple of days,
it's true.
Enemies.
We were hoping for the Rockies to be, finish above 500, maybe taking all 3 or winning 2 out of 3. They didn't even do that. They were a little bit lower than our expectations because on Friday we said 2 out of 3 or all 3.
I said the Rockies were going to sweep. I got played.
They almost got swept.
But
a 3-game sweep, as James points out in the chat. I mean, that's being very greedy. 2 out of 3 is probably greedy against the Cardinals. So I wouldn't say it's greedy.
I think
it might be realistic.
One out of 3 might be greedy against the Cardinals.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. These past couple of games have been messy against against a 100-loss team last year.
That looks like a 100-loss team this year.
Mm-hmm.
They got real estate agents playing the outfield for them. I'm not sure if you've heard from
like
me
they're doing a
earlier.
good job.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the Cardinals are going to be interesting this week. We'll preview that tomorrow. Jack Flaherty, Miles Michaelis. We got a rematch of Team USA rematch. Kyle Freeland, Miles Michaelis on Tuesday.
Let's go.
Which is fun. On Monday, Herman Marquez against Steven Matz. So double M's going against each other. And Marquez is 10 strikeouts away from tying the franchise record with Jorge De La Rosa for most all time. And then after that, 15 more strikeouts for 1,000 in his career. So
are you working on a story on that?
You could say that.
Yeah.
Although my audio talking with Vinny Castilla got jacked up somehow. I don't know. That's okay. It's not the end of the world.
I hate when that happens.
We got it.
Okay, good news though. Apparently the Cardinals pitching is abysmal.
Yes.
So I guess maybe we do have it. You're saying there's a chance?
Ooh, Jack is decent. I mean, yeah, his ERA is great. His walk total, not so much. Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Never a dull moment at Coors Field,
No, it'll be good. Nolan's coming back, the annual Arenado return. It will be interesting. We'll preview all of that tomorrow at 1 p.m. It's going to be like our new time. The early in the week shows. We always do the 2 post games, right? Which you can always count on Sundays. And then that other getaway day on like Wednesday, Thursday. Suzie show on Friday.
Yeah.
And then the first 2 games of the week, which is usually Monday, Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, if Monday's an off day, it'll be Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Those will be now 1 p.m.
1 p.m. shows those are so great. Right before we head into the clubhouse.
Those are
fun.
fun.
Talk to some guys about baseball.
It was fun being on top of the world, but I'm not going to lie. There was a lot of pressure, I think, on our shoulders of being a podcast for the best team in all of MLB. So we'll always have those 2 days, Suzie.
We'll always have those 2 days. I have nothing. No more comment.
We will. The poor TPBY guys, right? Do we have a TPBY in All City, a Tampa Rays pod? They're 9-0. Man, they're gonna have it rough this year.
9-0. My gosh, that is unreal. Yeah. When's the last time that's happened? A 9-0 start.
It's been a while. I know 2003 Royals were like the last time a team was like 8-0. So. Mm-hmm. That's a great start, and I think all of their games. I'm not sure about Sunday's game. They've won all of them by 4 or more runs. So like blowouts, like that's pretty wild. So
I hate it.
I loved my pick that Baltimore was going to have the most wins by the end of April because of what was on their schedule, but Tampa actually I think has had a lot more crummy teams to play against. But even if you get those bad teams, you actually have to win those games. You can't just split those series if it's a 4-game series.
It's a personal attack.
Personal, yeah.
It's personal.
Personally, it's personal. At DNVR_Rockies is where we're doing the damn thing on Twitter. At Patrick D. Lyons is where I'm at.
And you can find me at the Suzie Hunter on all platforms.
That's it.
Is it really time to wrap up the show?
I think it is.
Yeah.
We got to go look for Easter eggs.
We do.
We found a couple at Coors Field. They were around. Actually, as we were leaving, I went back upstairs. They did have an Easter egg hunt for all of the Rockies children.
They did, yeah.
That were out there.
Everyone was lined up outside of the clubhouse to...
Now, the ones that were hidden around the stadium were at least kind of hidden, right? Because if there was at least something blocking it from an angle. These ones were just kind of spread out in dot formation, like 10 in a row, take 2 steps forward, 10 in a row. It's for the little kids just to go out.
Yeah, it's for little kids just to have a good time.
Fill them, put them in the basket, and then that's it. Once you get your 8 or whatever it is, go back.
Cute.
It's a teaching moment.
Is it?
Yeah. And we're going to teach you tomorrow about momentum and podcasts, because you know what they say about those two things?
Patrick, tell me what they say.
It's only as good as your next show. So we will talk to you tomorrow at 1 p.m. on the DNVR Sports Channel here on YouTube.